Have you ever wondered why you impulsively purchase items you don't really need? It's a question that has perplexed many of us. We walk into a store with a list in hand, ready to stick to it, yet somehow, we end up with a cart full of items that weren't on our list. This is the fascinating world of spending habits, an interplay of psychological factors that often go unnoticed. It's the thrill of a new purchase, the lure of a limited time offer, or the comfort of retail therapy. These factors, and many more, subtly nudge us towards impulsive spending. Impulse purchases may seem harmless, providing us with a sense of immediate gratification. But over time, these unplanned expenses can add up, taking a toll on our financial health. Understanding these psychological influences can empower us to make more mindful purchases. So, let's delve into the intriguing world of our mind and its influence on our spending habits. Imagine walking in a mall, and you spot a shiny new gadget that catches your eye. Let's delve into the tale of our friend. Let's call him Jack. Jack, like many of us, is an average guy with a penchant for the latest tech. One day, he strolls through his favorite mall. Suddenly, his gaze lands on a new, ultra-sleek gadget in a gleaming store. The gadget is nothing short of a technological marvel, promising to make life easier, better, more exciting. Now Jack doesn't need this gadget. He has plenty of other devices at home that serve the same purpose. But something about this shiny new thing beckons him. It's like a siren's song, irresistible and enchanting. He can almost feel the cool, smooth surface of the gadget in his hands. He imagines the envious looks from his friends, the admiration from his colleagues. It's a rush, a thrill that's hard to ignore. So what does Jack do? He buys the gadget, right there, on the spot, without a second thought. He hands over his hard-earned money, and in return, he gets the shiny new object of his desire. It's a moment of triumph, of victory. He walks out of the store, gadget in hand, feeling like he's on top of the world. But let's pause for a moment and think about what just happened. Jack made an impulsive purchase. He bought something he didn't need, driven by a rush of emotions, the thrill of the new, the lure of the shiny, the promise of admiration. These are all psychological factors that influenced his decision. It's a classic example of how our emotions can override our rational thinking, leading us to make decisions that may not be in our best interest. Now think about this. What if we could control these impulses? Our spending habits are not as random as they seem. They are deeply rooted in our psychology. So, what's really going on in our minds when we swipe that credit card or click buy now? Let's delve a little deeper into the psychological theories and principles that influence our spending habits. First off, we have the principle of instant gratification. This is the desire to experience pleasure or fulfillment without delay. It's the reason why we might choose to buy that shiny new gadget now rather than saving the money for something more substantial in the future. It's the thrill of the immediate reward that drives us, and marketers are well aware of this. They'll often use phrases like limited time offer or only a few left in stock to trigger this impulse. Then there's the concept of social comparison. This is the idea that we determine our own social and personal worth based on how we stack up against others. We see our friends and colleagues with the latest fashion trends or tech gadgets and we want to fit in, so we buy. This is why advertising often features happy, successful people using the product. It's not just about the item itself, but about the lifestyle and status it represents. Finally, let's talk about retail therapy. Yes, it's a real thing. Shopping can provide a sense of control and a temporary boost in mood, especially during times of stress or anxiety. While it's not a long-term solution, the short-term emotional lift we get from a new purchase is another factor that can drive our spending. These principles, instant gratification, social comparison, and retail therapy, are just a few examples of how our psychology influences our spending habits. They help to explain why we often make purchases that might not make sense from a purely financial perspective. Understanding these factors can help us make more mindful decisions about our spending. It's not about cutting out all discretionary spending, but rather, making sure that our purchases align with our values and long-term goals. That's the key to mindful spending. Now, let's revisit the mall scenario, but this time armed with our newfound understanding of spending psychology. Imagine yourself back in the bustling mall, the bright lights, the noise, the energy. You're drawn to a store like before, with the mannequins dressed in the latest fashion. But this time, something's different. You're armed with knowledge, understanding, and a mindful approach to spending. As you enter the store, you see the same vibrant red dress that caught your eye the first time. It's still beautiful, still appealing, but you're not the same impulsive shopper anymore. You pause, you think, you question. Do you need this dress? Do you have a similar one at home? Is it within your budget? These questions aren't a damper on your shopping experience, instead they're tools, helping you make more informed, mindful decisions. The dress is still in your hands, but you're not rushing to the checkout counter. You're evaluating, assessing. You're considering the hours of work it took to earn the money for this dress. You're thinking about the other things you could do with that money. Maybe you could save it for a rainy day, or maybe use it for an experience, like a concert or a dinner out with friends. Instead of being swayed by the immediate gratification of a purchase, you're looking at the bigger picture. You're understanding the psychological influences at play, the dopamine rush of a new purchase, the societal pressure of keeping up with the latest fashion trends. And you're choosing to make a more mindful decision. You put the dress back on the rack. It's not a loss, it's a gain. You've gained control over your spending habits. You've gained a deeper understanding of your needs versus your wants. You've gained the power to make more mindful purchases. Can you see the difference? The power of mindful spending lies in our hands. So, what have we learned about the psychology of spending, and how can we apply this knowledge? We've ventured into the minds of both the impulsive shopper and the mindful shopper, and we've seen how their spending habits differ drastically. We've unraveled the psychological factors that often drive us to spend excessively and impulsively, such as instant gratification, social pressure, and emotional comfort. We've discovered that these factors can lead us down a path of financial instability and regret. But we've also seen the light at the end of the tunnel, the mindful shopper. The mindful shopper represents the benefits of understanding our spending habits and making thoughtful, intentional purchases. They've shown us that by being aware of our emotions and motivations, we can control our spending and ensure that it aligns with our long-term financial goals and values. So how can we transform from an impulsive shopper to a mindful one? Here are some practical tips. Firstly, take a pause before making a purchase. This simple act can help us avoid impulsive buying decisions and give us the opportunity to ask ourselves, do I really need this? Secondly, create a budget. Having a clear picture of our income and expenses can help us make informed decisions about our purchases and keep us on track towards our financial goals. Thirdly, practice gratitude. Being thankful for what we already have can reduce our desire for more, helping us to curb our spending. And finally, seek support. Whether it's from a financial advisor, a friend, or an online community, having someone to talk to about our spending habits can provide us with valuable insights and encouragement. In conclusion, mindful spending is not about depriving ourselves. It's about making thoughtful decisions that align with our values and goals. It's about gaining control over our finances and ultimately, our lives. Remember, understanding our spending habits is the first step towards financial freedom. Make your next purchase a mindful one. Before we wrap up, we'd like to invite you to join our Thrive to Success community. If you found this video insightful and want to learn more about achieving financial freedom and living a mindful life, hit that subscribe button below. By subscribing, you'll be the first to know when we drop new videos packed with practical tips and enlightening information just like this. Remember, every journey starts with a single step, and subscribing could be your first step towards financial freedom and mindful living. So, what are you waiting for? Click that subscribe button now, and let's thrive to success together. Stay tuned for more. And as always, make your next purchase a mindful one.